Welcome to Realize Your Potential with Mike and Travis. We are here with Hal Lublin for part 3 of the Hal Lublin Experience. If you've missed any part of this, you have to go back and watch episodes 1 and 2 with Hal Lublin. As he talked about, first he really talked about building a career in Hollywood and how to focus on that and how to do that really well, right? And then his our second episode with him was really focused on branding, how to brand yourself. And he gave us some really helpful tips to not only brand yourself in the general public, but also to brand yourself with people that you might be working for or working with, and how important that is to your career. So part 3 today, we're really gonna focus on pitfalls, things to look out for, mistakes that maybe Hal has made and learned from, and things that you can take away and action today. As we always say, hey, we really need you to like, share, and subscribe. So please, please, please click that like button, share, and also comment with us. We'd love to hear your feedback on what you're taking away from each of these episodes and what you think is really important. So without further ado, we're going to jump right into it. So Hal, take us through a couple of things that maybe did or didn't work for you, and what your thoughts were around that.
Sure. Some of these mistakes you can chalk up to I just didn't know. But also, some of it is, and you don't know something, you also don't know what you don't know. So you go into a situation and you're like, this is great, and then it doesn't quite turn out the way you hoped. So it took me a while, I would say 4 years, to get an agent. And I'd met with people and it just hadn't worked out. And then I don't even remember how I got hooked up with this agent, but I went in and met with them. I interviewed with a couple people. I was so nervous. It was for an on-camera commercial agent. And in meeting with everybody, it just felt like, all right, well, I all I wanted was just take me on your roster. I just want a chance. Please give me a chance. They signed me. I was so grateful. And the first thing my agent says is, you need new headshots. Casting directors have no imagination, and you need character headshots so that they know what you look like. I think the things that you're probably going to be cast as the most are a businessman, a construction worker, and a fireman. I have somebody I work with who does headshots. I want you to go out. It costs $450, which is it's a lot of money now, but it was a lot of money then.
Yeah, for sure. I
drove out to like, Murderville in the Valley to this guy's apartment, took photos. I just sort of provided my own props. They are the worst headshots I've ever taken. Oh my goodness. I brought them to the agent, and she was like, all right, great. And had them there, I guess, to send out. But nothing about any of that felt right. But I was so, again, scared of losing the representation from this clearly fantastic agent who did not have a deal worked out with the photographer where she was getting a kickback.
No, she didn't.
Every client she sent his way. That I didn't want to upset the apple cart. And eventually I was like, first of all, I'm going to save these pictures, and I have one of each of them. They are... I will show them to you after this.
Oh my goodness, I have to see them. I have to see them.
I want to see them too.
How bad they are.
That for our Patreon.
Look, if you back the show, you'll realize your potential to see these pictures.
Right. We'll help you realize that right away.
But I didn't listen to my gut because my fear of losing what I thought I had was too great. And that's still something I struggle with, but I went and got new versions of the shots, brought them in. She could have cared less. I finally, for voiceover, got a different agent, and I saw what an actual agent was able to do. I fired them.
Okay.
And even with firing them, 6 months later, they had submitted me for something.
What?
So I got a call from them saying, "Why aren't you at this audition?" And then
you're like, "What?"
I said, "Why are you sending me places? I fired you. I don't work with you anymore."
Right?
So now I look like a jerk because I didn't show up to this audition that was given to me by an agent that I don't have working for me anymore.
Yeah, weird.
And that was a learning process. That was a big fail. Another one, I think, was I don't know if this is a failure on. Well, it is. Here, I'll tell you the story, and then we'll have the lesson at the end, like I'm Aesop or something.
Like Aesop's fables, right? No, but I think it's really important for our listeners to understand what you talked about there, right? Which is the first piece is when you know something is wrong, don't continue to do it because it can put you in a really bad situation. And then reach out to those around you and figure out, like, if you are unclear of that, like, what should I be doing? Is there another opportunity? Is there a better way to do this? Right? And I think that that's a really, really important lesson here.
Yeah. And don't be afraid to ask not only the people in that situation, but ask other people who maybe have more experience being in a similar situation to that, so that you get a feel for, hey, should I be putting on a ton of pancake makeup and a construction helmet that's too small for my head?
Right.
So it's like a peanut M&M holding a hammer. Yeah. So in 2004, I was doing a musical that was running in Hollywood, and the part that I was playing had been written for one of the creators of the show, who has a deep bass voice, which I don't have singing. So the songs were out of my range, and I remember asking if they could shift it, and they said no. So in trying to reach high notes and low notes every night, I was wrecking my voice. At the same time, I was cast as the lead in an anime, and I went in for my first day of recording right after having done a performance of the play a previous night. My voice was so shredded that they had to fire me.
Oh,
like that day. Didn't even make it through. At lunch, I got fired. And again, that's like taking care of yourself is really, really important. And I didn't make the right adjustment until it was too late, because I was... I want to give the best possible performance. If the note is this note, I want to try to hit it rather than making an adjustment, which changes nothing for anybody, and also takes care. I wish I had taken better care of myself in that moment. I don't think it would have affected my ability to do that job at a high level, but it also would not have ruined my ability to do other jobs at the same time. So learning to take care of yourself while delivering your best work is super important. You're just as beholden to yourself as you are to whomever you're working for.
Yeah, that's huge.
Or working with.
Yeah, that's huge. It's real big. Mike, what do you think as you talk to your clients about self-care? Because I know you talk to your clients a lot about it.
Well, I was just thinking about that in my personal life when he was talking about that, and making sure that I'm continuing to pour into my relationship with my wife, because we've been super busy, working a lot, the kids, distance learning, like it's really starting to put a drain on things,
Yeah, that can be hard.
And I keep getting these little reminders of how important it is to make sure that I'm pouring into the things that I love the most and I'm compassionate about the most. So, and that's one of them, of course, my kids, this with you, Travis. And so for me, that's just a reminder for myself, to be honest with you, is make sure that I'm doing that. So, and I had to stop my head from going to, all right, when we're done with this, I'm going to do this. Right? So, so one, thank you for asking me that question, because I had to thought stop around that. That's a tool to use. To be able to pivot.
So now, tell us some more, Hal, about your massive blunders. This has been the best part of the show. We want to hear how you failed more.
I was I was on the Tonight Show and I set myself on fire. Well, here's one.
Right.
I think just in general, this line of work, this career, is built in that you're going to be rejected 95 to 99% of the time. The number of jobs.
That's worse than a batting average.
It's if you're so below
right?
the Mendoza line, so far below.
Yeah, crazy.
Just ridiculously. It would be like me playing right field at summer camp, Willow Grove, batting average 125. Thank you. The number of things that I've gotten to read for that were so excited, cartoons we all grew up watching, anything you can think of. I got to read for Optimus Prime and Starscream and Cobra Commander. Like, all these roles have come through. Just the projects big and small. And not only do you not get them, but you don't ever hear back. You don't get the feedback that you would love to have, which is, hey, you were close on this. If you had done X, Y, Z, it would have taken it over the top. Now, part of the solution to that on my end is taking workshops where I learn better techniques and how to break down things faster and get adjustments from working casting directors and voiceover directors. But also, something I lost for a while was I convinced myself not to be excited about anything I was auditioning for. I can't be disappointed if I'm not super excited about it in the first place. That it's just all whatever. Right. Yeah. Another day, another read. I was talking to a friend of mine, James Urbaniak, who plays Dr. Venture. He played Dr. Venture on Venture Brothers. He's works constantly. Great actor, really, really good friend. And I was talking to him about that. Like, I keep having these auditions and things that I get really excited about, and then I get disappointed. So I'm just trying not to get excited, to get my hopes up. Are you like that? He's like, no, I still get my hopes up about things and get excited about it. And that made it click for me that even among all of the either rejection or silence, that it's important to maintain that excitement. You know, every piece of copy that comes across my email account, I could be the voice of Sprite. I could be the dad on this Nickelodeon show. That possibility is there. Until it's not there, it's there. So it's better to function from a place of what would it be? And now I've even gone a step beyond that. So it's even beyond the possibility it could happen. When I sit down to record it, I try to get in the headspace of, I've already booked this job. It's my first day in the booth. This is what I'm
That's great mindset.
So I want to come to it, whether I get it or not, from a place of confidence and joy. I heard a quote recently, and I'm going to mangle it, but it's the essence is to protect ferociously the joy that you derive from following your passion. You can't let that light go out, because otherwise, what are you doing? You have to keep that positivity about you, and that has to come from you, and it will make the wins even more sweet. But it also will help you to accept the losses and the failures that come along with it, because nobody's batting 1,000 ever on anything.
Yeah, that's really good feedback.
I really like what you said there, because what you talked about earlier was sort of this magical, or Travis, maybe it was you, about this magical thinking that if I'm not preparing, if I'm not moving to action with understanding that, one, the likelihood of being, getting these jobs, I mean, it's not high, so this is sort of the environment. But what can I continue to do to sort of better my chances and keep my mood elevated, keep my energy high, which we all know that when you do that, there's a higher likelihood that when someone receives it, they're going to be more receptive, because it doesn't have this sort of weird energy behind it,
Yeah. Great call out, Mike.
Sense, dude.
Really keeping your energy high and being in the right frame of mind to be successful is half the battle in itself. Thank you so much, Hal, for sharing all of this stuff, not just on this episode, which there were a lot of really good nuggets here. So I would say go back and watch it if you missed a few. But throughout the 3 episodes, and I think there's some times where people look at this and they go, man, you know what? Like, I know this stuff, I've heard this before. And the difference really from what we're trying to share is not necessarily have you heard it before, but have you been able to contextualize it and make it a part of your life? Because that's really the most important thing, is how do I take these tips and put them into my life? So am I writing them down, or do I have a method for doing that? And so I think that that's really the key to success when you're looking at any advice that you're getting from anyone, but our shows. And so would love to hear from you, though, Hal. Any kind of last thoughts, any last things that our audience can take away from this experience, or all the experiences in general, but just kind of your overall thoughts to kind of sum up this whole Hal Lublin experience?
Yeah, I think there are so many. I think just to sort of piggyback off of what you said, because I think you both give really great nuggets in every single episode and action steps. And by the end of watching these episodes, you're going to have even more. So you'll have a list. And it's important to take things one step at a time and realize that's how you achieve anything. Whether it's finishing a marathon or reading a book, you can only go one step, one jog, 1 mile at a time to finish a marathon, 1 word, 1 sentence, 1 paragraph, 1 page at a time to finish a book. And you may not see results right away, but when you look back collectively over the work that you do in a day, a week, a month, and a year, you're going to be amazed by the progress that you make.
Yeah, thank you so much, Hal. Thank you so much for joining us and giving us great insight. Everybody, please like, share, and subscribe. Go back and watch these episodes. We really, really loved them. And guess what? Hal Lublin Experience. We want it trending everywhere. The Hal, hashtag Hal Lublin Experience. That's what we want.
Your minds and hearts.
Hey.
Yep.
Mm-hmm. Join the journey.
So, we're going to make sure that you join the journey. Thanks for joining us. And have a great day. We love you.